I would like to show you the evolution of this piece that I call She Found Herself. This is some of my old art that I have scanned, and I decided that I was going to make several copies of it, and then I decided to turn it into this mixed media piece. This piece began with some teenagers. We were listening to the music Trust Fall by Pink, and we decided to use some old ephemera. But about a month has passed since I started this, and it was just stuck and I couldn't decide where to go. And so once I started cutting up my old art and gluing it down, it sort of evolved, and I thought, oh, I really like the black and white idea. But the old ephemera had, the brown color, browny yellow color. So I thought, oh, maybe I should add some yellow. And then I started deciding that the yellow was too much. It wasn't really what I wanted to do. And so then I started adding more white paint for polka dots and getting rid of some of the lines. I did some journaling and then thought, well, maybe I don't want the journaling to be showing. So then I started adding more polka dots, black and white polka dots. And then eventually decided I didn't want that. So then I covered it up with gesso and then thought I needed some more calm pieces. So I made some flowers on some black pieces of paper using Signal a Uniball white pen. And then I kept deciding, am I finished, am I not? And there's the large circle on the left. I thought maybe that could be where this little creature has emerged from. But it kept bothering me that it was sort of drawing attention away from the little fish-like creature that I created. Then I decided, well, I was going to do some journaling on some of the little circles. Then I started editing out all of the little gray areas. And then decided to go for the big plunge and decided to cover up all of the little dots that I spent hours making because I found it was too busy and I needed to have some not so busy areas next to the focal point next to the fish-like focal point so that it stood out some more. And then once I was done that, I just couldn't decide if I was finished or not. It seemed like it became too plain. So I kept editing and editing and editing more and then going over lines that sort of disappeared. And sometimes there were some stubborn areas, so I pulled out my dip pen and my acrylic ink, and that lots of times helped with the stubborn areas. So another plan was to make the flowers stand out more, and by going in between them and blacking out all of the white dots, and that made them stand out some more. And now it was a matter of going back and bringing back some lines. And of course, having some tea and thinking about, am I finished? What am I going to do next? Then as you notice just at the tail of the creature, I left a circle or a half circle thinking maybe that would be an area where it would emerge out of the darkness into the light. But it was still bothering me and it was still a distraction. You could also see the colors that were from the very first layer that I did. So I continue to add more black areas, deleting or getting rid of distractions. And here's when I take the plunge and decide to finally get rid of that distracting half circle. I'm using the Winsor Newton Pitt pens. I love the India ink. It's very dark. And because it's so dark, it was really good at going around the little flowers because I did the flowers on black paper. And so it integrated it into the left upper portion really well. And like I mentioned, there were a few stubborn areas where there were so many layers and so many bumps that it was really difficult to get in there with the felt marker. So it was time to get out the dip pen and ink and really get in there and try to refine some of the lines that had disappeared. And some of the last steps were to emphasize she found herself. I really did go through a lot of steps and layers for this piece. And eventually I did find myself. I ended up going in with a Signal Ball white gel pen and adding some more white dots. I thought it was just too plain in the black areas. The little journaling in the bubbles are sort of me dealing with frustration. One of the things about owning a business is people say, oh, I love what you're doing and I got to come out sometime. And then when you offer things, they don't always, take you up on it. And they'll say maybe next time or someday or at the end of the month. And there's always seems to be excuses. And I really don't want to hear I don't really want people to say they want to come out unless they actually do. And so this was me kind of dealing with it and just saying, there's a lot of darkness, but there is a lot of great things about owning your own business. You have a lot of independence and you're helping other people. And so I love the word she found herself because I finally found myself on this little piece. And the great thing is that it started off as focusing on trust fall and ended up being about something entirely different and just me dealing with mixed emotions I've been having lately, and finally deciding that I'm at peace with what I have done and have declared this piece finally finished. Thank you for watching and hope you subscribe and leave a comment. And another lesson here is don't throw away your old art. Keep it, scan it, and use it for a new idea.